Unicorn Overlord arrives on the Switch very soon, and in the lead up to launch they have released a demo. Now there's a lot of opinion pieces out there already. If you look on YouTube, you're going to see words like incredible, masterpiece, potential game of the year, and the truth is, couldn't agree more. However, it's not going to be for everyone, and that's very much always the case with Vanillaware, the developers behind this. They very much take a genre you know and you love, and they put their own unique stamp on things. Now, if you do, however, like games like Ogre Battle 64 or Fire Emblem, then I do think there's potentially something here for you. This is a game I'm absolutely psyched for, and I want to take you through my experience with this demo. Now, before we do get into it quickly, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe. It helps out the channel a huge amount. So first of all, Vanillaware and Atlus, kind of this dream combination, publisher and developer, and most recently together, they released 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, a complete masterpiece. It is one of only 4 10 out of 10s I've ever given on this channel, and I have well over 600 reviews live. Also, I would suggest, I'd urge you in fact to all check out this demo. It is absolutely massive, but it gives you a real good picture of what to expect. And to give you an idea here, I spent around 5 hours in its world. So I don't want to give too much detail on the story here, but basically we're going to open the game with a queen about to head into battle, and now she hands over her son to a trusted general, so it seems she's not all that confident in the war ahead. While she is fighting with the army, he will flee, and unfortunately, moments later, we do learn she fell in battle, and so did the kingdom. Now we cut to years later, and we are preparing to fight back and reclaim the throne, which is rightfully ours. It is a relatively simple setup, very kind of true to that fantasy setting, but this is Vanillaware, and story is a priority. So basically, come here expecting non-stop dialogue. There's going to be character building and some truly stunning back and forth. You know, if you've played 13 Sentinels, you know how good their writing is, and here it doesn't disappoint. Just again, be warned, it is going to be pretty much consistently throughout. Thankfully though, it is also backed up with fantastic voice acting, and I personally typically skip dialogue as I do find, you know, I can read at a quicker pace than that delivery, but I did not do that here. I absolutely just took it all in. Gameplay at this point then can really be broken down into 3 elements. We've got unit setup, exploration, and combat. Now the exploration's relatively simple, a top-down world view, and here we can move freely, picking up quests, side quests, finding items, visiting stores, investing in towns, I think maybe adding guards to protect them. We can reinforce and upgrade strongholds, and we can of course work on our units. It is a game of constant systems, and I'd be lying if I didn't say it is initially overwhelming, but spend the time with it and it all comes together really nicely. Now this then leads to combat, and the battles are signified on the map with flags, and once you do jump in, movement is all going to be in real time. It's going to be a cursor based movement, but it works really nicely on a controller. Now as the world around you is moving, that means enemy units are flowing around you too, and you'll basically be deploying from a specified marker on the map and choosing which units you do want to see go to war. It's definitely going to be important to have your units prepped in advance, and also to have items at your disposal, because almost like any game, the tutorial makes things seem, let's say, a little easy, but then there's a sudden spike. For me, that was a character named Bruno, who just absolutely crushed me the first time. What will surprise many though is the fact that battles here are automated. Yes, when you see them in the trailers or the gameplay, it very much looks like turn-based combat where you're selecting actions. Rather, this is more, think, real-time strategy, so you can actually skip watching them entirely, but I would advise against that. It's really going to be important to just understand how you succeeded or why you fell, so you can use that information as you kind of work into that next location. That though I think is going to be the bit that puts them off, but I promise you, it is in fact incredibly rewarding, and the impact you have in battle really is paramount, because you're going to be directing unit movement, yes, on the field, but you'll also strategically choose what unit is best positioned to succeed, and then monitor things such as stamina. So that's right, if you use the same unit too many times, they will be frozen in place, exhausted. That's a lesson I learned the hard way. But basically, you've always got to be thinking just one step ahead. So how do you, though, as the player, impact the flow of battle? And first of all, As I said, it's going to be things such as unit positioning, so who will be in what group. There's over 60 characters promised in this game, but for example, early on, you'll have 3 units, and you can place 3 different characters in each, so who will it be? May sound a little trivial, but it's incredibly important. They need to work together, so for example, I put a heavy with a massive shield in front of a character that is particularly powerful with attacks and arrows in particular, but they actually suffer from a small health meter. This means they need to get through my guard first, so they get that extra layer of protection. Another situation, I faced those with lances. They could actually hit my front and back row at the same time, so you want to make sure in this situation they are not on the same line as each other, because that means they'll pierce one, get to the next. So yeah, that's going to go for all units that you do face. You need to figure out their strategy. So again, another example, airborne units are susceptible to arrow attacks, and make sure you've got a character available that can deliver that. Really doesn't stop there either. Weapon and equipment setup will be key, and you can even influence a character's actions within a unit. So for example, will they heal during battles if someone is hit, or will they go for their final attack? Now, I will of course absolutely have a full review of this game post-launch, where I will be going into more details around all of these different systems. I think right now though, if I had to summarize the gameplay, the story is incredibly strong, the combat is surprisingly rewarding, and I can't help but just dig into all of these different menus, all of these different options. It's great to see not only, you know, how characters work in battle, but what difference does it make if I maybe pair them up with someone else, or maybe even choose a different leader, because that is something you can do. I also found myself visiting different stores around this world. What items can I find? How will that help me in battle? And what difference will it make when it comes to those more challenging encounters? Now then, on top of all of this as well, we've got to address it. 13 Sentinels had a similar visual style, and this game is stunning. Now, I do find with Vanillaware, when there's still images, it doesn't quite do justice to their work, let's say, but their animation and their hand-drawn style in motion just looks absolutely stunning. The characters look fantastic, attacks look incredibly powerful, the world map is easy to understand, and one thing that particularly impressed me was in battles, it is that turn-based screen, as I said, but remember that it's all automated, but each character only has so many attacks, and if they do run out, a victor will be crowned based on unit standing and damage within them. So basically what occurs is we head out of the battle, both of these units still stand, and both are pushed backwards on the map. Now, when I immediately jump back into battle, the background changed from open lands to a wooded area, reflecting where they now stood on that world location, and that really impressed me. It is a, let's face it, an incredibly simple thing, but it just shows the level of care that Vanillaware have, and it also reflects the changes that are occurring in this world, which I think makes buying a whole lot easier. So for me, yeah, look, roll on release date, honestly. Like everyone else, I'm gonna say it, this is shaping up to be incredible, and while it's early days, it is for sure Game of the Year potential for me. If it is, of course, though, you know, the genre and the mechanics for yourself as well. You know, God knows as well that Vanillaware deserve an accolade such as that, because talk about just years of quality output. I do suspect as well that this game is going to be massive, with the potential for hundreds of hours. So will you be checking out Unicorn Overlord? Maybe you played the demo already. Let me know in the comments below. With that, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.